Greetings to you and welcome especially to Bengineer Construction Lecture Hub. I want to draw attention to the topic I titled How to Calculate Cement, Sand and Granite, okay, in 1 cubic meter of grade 25. All right. Now, basically, this is more of a material quantity estimation. Okay, so for us to calculate the quantity of our cement, our sand, and granite in a concrete, because as you know, concrete is made up of cement, sand, and granite. Now, it is these materials that forms our concrete, and these concrete have various strengths, and the various strengths are, measured by their grades. Okay, and their grades is being kind of formed by a certain mix ratio. So every grade of concrete has its mix ratio. So for you to calculate the quantity of this individual constituent, you must know the ratio, for that grade of concrete. So in this case, we are considering M25, which is the grade of concrete. So for you to calculate the individual constituent of concrete based on 1 cubic meter, first and foremost, you must get the mix ratio for M25 is 1:2. 1:1:2, sorry, okay, 1:1:2. That is the mix ratio for M25. So what this simply means is that 1 stands for cement, 1 all here stands for sand, 2 here stands for granite. So by this proportioning, you're expected to have this grade of concrete. So you have to state the mixed ratio. Then the wet volume, we are considering 1 cubic meter. All right. For the case of what we are doing, we are considering 1 cubic meter. But most times you see that when you calculate the volume of your, maybe the where you want to do your concreting, and you have maybe 5 cubic meter, 6 cubic meter, all you need to do is to now multiply that number, that quantity of in cubic, okay, by what the outcome of what we are going to compute for M25 if we are dealing with M25. So wet volume is 1 cubic meter. Then dry volume is 1 cubic meter times 1.54, okay, which will give us 1.54 cubic meter. Then we have sum of ratio. Now you have to add up this ratio because they are going to form concrete, so you have to add them up. So the ratio, when you sum it up, it becomes 4. 1 plus 1 plus 2 will give you 4. Then you now calculate for cement. Cement, now you say 1, which is 1, okay, divided by the sum of ratio, which is 4, times the dry volume, okay, dry volume, which is 1.54. It will give you 0.385 cubic meter. All right. Then you now multiply. This is in volume. So if you're doing your batching is the proportioning of this material. So if you're doing it by volume, all you need to do is to use this volume for your cement. But if you're doing by weight is measured in kg. So you have to convert this to kg. So you now multiply this volume by the density of cement. The density of cement is 1,440 kg per cubic meter. So when you multiply it, you now have 554.4 kg. Okay, that is what you have, because the cubic meter here will run off the cubic meter in the density, so you are left with kg. All right, so from here now, you divide it by the weight of 1 bag of cement, which is 50 kg. So when you divide it by 50 kg, you have 11.08. So approximately you need number of bags of cement you need for 1 cubic meter of this grade 25 of grade 25 concrete. You need 11 bags of cement, okay, for this grade of concrete for 1 cubic meter. So if you have 5 cubic meter, you have to, if you have 5 cubic meter by volume of maybe the components you want to do the concreting, you only need to multiply 5 by 11, which becomes 55. So 55 becomes 55 bags of cement will be enough to do the concreting of 5 cubic meter of concrete of 25 concrete grade. Okay, so that is how you go about that. So once you have gotten the cement, you have to calculate for the sand. So for the sand, you have 1, okay, you have 1 divided by the sum of ratio, which is 4, divided by 1.54, which is the dry volume. So you have 0.385 cubic meter. Then converting it to kg, that is if you're working by kilograms in terms of weight. If you're doing your batching by weight, you convert it. So multiply this, the volume, by the density of sand, which is 1,600 kilonewton per meter cube. That is the density of sand. So when you multiply it, you now have 616 kg. So this is the weight of sand that can produce M25 for 1 cubic meter of M25 grade of concrete. So the next is your granite. Your granite now by ratio is 2. So 2 divided by the sum of ratio, which is 4, multiplied by the dry volume, okay, 1.54. So when you work it out, you have 0.77 cubic meter. Now that is the volume of granite based on the ratio. Then when you convert it to kg, you have to multiply it by 1,800 kilogram per cubic meter. All right, that is the density of granite, okay, for coarse aggregate. So when you work it out, you have 1,232 kg. So this is the weight of coarse aggregate that is required to get this grade of 25 grade of concrete for 1 cubic meter. So if at the end of the day you have your slab, okay, and your slab you need maybe 2, 3 or 5, 6 cubic meter to cover the entire slab, all you need to do is to just multiply that particular figure by this to get the number of cement. Then you multiply by this to get the weight of sand for that quantity of for that specified quantity. You also multiply it by this to get for the granite. Okay, so this is how you're expected to go about it. All right, to calculate the quantity of cement, sand, and granite in 1 cubic meter for grade 25 strength of concrete. All right, so do well to follow this page if this is the first time you're coming across this video, and endeavor to share this video to other groups and other platforms. Thank you so much for your time, and do have a wonderful day. Thank you.